It's 6 p.m. time for the news bulletin on Channel 2. I am Bethha, and starting off with the main headlines. Prime Minister makes an inspection tour of medical and communication projects in the 6th of October. Foreign Minister Abdulati makes phone calls with EU's foreign policy chief, Slovenian and Slovak counterparts on Israel-Iran conflict. Welcome back, dear viewers. The news in full. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli asserted that Egypt is taking serious steps towards the localization of many important local industries with the participation of the local and foreign private sector. The Prime Minister made these remarks as he made an inspection tour at the projected establishment of a factory for manufacturing ultrasound scanning sets or sonography and magnetic resonance imaging sets known as MRI. The factory, the first of its kind in the Middle East and Africa, will be located in the 6th of October city. Meanwhile, Madbouli inspected Safi Group factory for developed communications industries, hailing the advanced technologies used at the factory, which will contribute to localizing various industries in the field of manufacturing, medical and communications sets, along with cell phones and televisions. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli said today that Egypt aims at developing natural zones of economic benefit, which will help enhance their projects, offering direct or indirect work opportunities and serving the state's sustainable development objectives. The Prime Minister made these remarks as he shared a follow-up meeting of the development of Rashid Fishing Port and Wadi el-Natron Hammer Spring, and Madbouli pressed for developing a feasibility study for the spring development project due to be implemented in partnership with the private sector. Minister of Foreign, Immigration and Expatriates Affairs Badr Abdulati today warned against the dangers of the region's sliding into chaos as a result of Israel-Iran escalation, stressing the necessity of resuming negotiations. The minister made these remarks as he received Serbian Prime Minister Doro Markat, where they reviewed the latest regional debate to a ceasefire agreement in Gaza and healing Serbia's supportive stance of the Palestinian cause. Egypt diplomats hailed the imminent taking into effect a free trade agreement signed by both sides in 2023. He also lauded the Serbian side backing for the nomination of ex-tourism minister Khalid al-Anani for the UNESCO Secretary General. Minister of Foreign Immigration and Expatriates Affairs Badr Abdulati today stressed the significance of concerted regional and international efforts to hold the current escalation in the Middle East, given its grave repercussions of the security and stability of the entire region. The minister made these remarks as he held two phone calls with French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot and Britain National Security Advisor Jean-Pierre Powell, asserting that there is no alternative to diplomatic and political solutions for de-escalating regional tensions. He pointed out that the current military escalation should not divert the world attention away from the disastrous conditions in the Gaza Strip and the occupied West Bank, pressing for a political settlement to the Palestinian cause along the two-state solution. Egypt top diplomat said he is looking forward to the European countries' recognition of a Palestinian state being the cornerstone of regional peace. He also urged using all diplomatic channels with Iran to hammer out a solution which would help halt escalation. To the same end, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Migration Badr Abdulati held phone calls with the European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas, Slovenian counterpart Tanga Fajon, and Slovak Foreign Minister Juraj Blaner. In the first call, Abdulaziz stressed the necessity of resuming negotiations on Iran nuclear program being the only means to hold the current escalation with the Israeli side. He also called for a resumption of a ceasefire deal in Gaza as part of Egypt's mediation efforts with Qatar and the United States to allow humanitarian aid to the war-torn Strip. Separately, Egypt top diplomats hailed Slovenia's supportive stance for the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people and warned against the grave repercussions of the Israeli-Iranian standoff. He urged returning to the negotiating paths to prevent the region from sliding into more violence. The minister made similar remarks in a phone call with his Slovak peer, who expressed gratitude for Egypt over helping his country to bring back its nationals from Israeli territories through Egyptian airports. An Iranian missile hit the main hospital in South. Deputy Foreign Minister warned the United States today against intervening in the war to back up Israel, adding that his country was ready to defend itself in case of escalation. Separately, European sources said that foreign ministers from key European powers, France, Germany and Britain and the EU top diplomats are aiming to meet their Iranian counterpart for nuclear talks in Geneva on Friday. In another development, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson criticized UN nuclear watchdog chief Rafael Grossi and accused the International Atomic Energy Agency of being a partner to an unjust war of aggression initiated by Israel. The Wall Street Journal reported that U.S. President Donald Trump met with his top aides to review attack plans against Iran, but was holding off to see if Iran would give up its nuclear program. A source familiar with internal discussions said Trump and his team were considering options that included joining Israeli strikes against Iranian nuclear installations. Senior U.S. Senate Democrats urged Trump to prioritize diplomacy and seek a binding agreement to prevent Iran from attaining nuclear weapons, while expressing concern about his administration approach. Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping strongly condemned Israeli attacks on Iran in a phone call and stressed the need for a diplomatic solution. Moscow and Beijing said they believe the end to the hostilities should be achieved exclusively by political and diplomatic means. Xi told Putin that a ceasefire was the top priority and urged Israel to halt its attacks. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli presided over a meeting with the Committee for Market Regulation and Commodity Prices to oversee the availability of essential commodities and maintain price stability. Prime Minister Madbouli stressed that his government is working in accordance to a strategy to guarantee achieving sustainable food security, increasing the strategic stockpiles of basic commodities, in addition to intensifying monitoring markets to prevent monopoly policies. Egypt's bourse turned lower at the close today amid sell-offs for investment funds, local and Arab investors against purchases by local and foreign corporations. The market capital of listed companies lost £34 billion to end the dealings at 2.1 trillion Egyptian pounds amid an average trading of 23.7 billion Egyptian pounds. The benchmark EGX30 dipped 1.9%. The equal-weighted EGX70 and EGX100 fell 2.1 and 1.81% respectively. Al-Ahli go head-to-head with their second-round Club World Cup encounter against Brazilian side Palmeiras today at 7 p.m. Cairo local time. The Cairo football giants had two previous matches with their Brazilian rivals, which ended a win for each. Al-Ahli were drawn in Group A with Inter Miami of the United States, Brazil, Palmeiras, and Portugal. In the last match, Egypt giants Al-Ahli were held draw 0-0. And got off to a smooth start in front of 60,927 fans in Florida. And dear viewers, by that we come to the end of our news bulletin. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more. That was Basmata.